So, you've just spawned in and you're wondering, how exactly do I play this game? You probably already know the basic controls for Roblox, unless you've been playing on a laptop for years and are just used to using the arrow keys to move. First of all, you can't use the arrow keys to move in this game. It's about impossible. Well, actually, now that I try it, it's literally impossible. You can't use them. But, if you've been using WASD, like any other video game out there, you will be able to move around fine. And you hold right click, you look around using your camera, yada yada. Alright. So, one of the first things you'll want to do when you get into SoulShatters is go ahead and walk over to one of these attack dummies. You're going to need one if you're going to practice getting better. So, the basic controls, press L or press your middle mouse button on one of these dummies. And when I say on, I mean, see your cursor here? You gotta hover it over the character that you want to lock onto and press on them, like that. Now, I use the middle mouse button just because it's a lot easier for me. It's one button, I don't have to worry about reaching over to the other side of my keyboard to lock onto them. Now, next thing you'll want to learn is how to dodge. Dodging's pretty simple. It's like sprinting in Minecraft, but you can press any of the buttons. You can double tap W to dash forward. You can double tap S to move backwards. You can double tap A to move sideways, and D to move the other way. Alright, now that we've got that down, you need to learn about sprinting. Sprinting's key to SoulShatters, especially if you want to dodge attacks. So, to sprint, you either have to press Control while holding a direction key, or you can dash and sprint by dashing in the direction you want to go and then holding that button. So, for example, I will double tap A and hold A after I've double tapped it. And then I move that way, sprinting. Sorry for you beginner players, I forgot to mention, press R to teleport. All you gotta do is that, and you go towards your enemy. This is really useful for characters like Glitchtail Kara, because they can spam it in their second form. For other characters, they don't even have a teleport until their second form, so be wary of that. Alright, I think that's all the basic controls out of the way. So, now to attack, all you've got to do is walk up and just click. Simple as that. There's nothing really special about this. Point being is, if you attack this dummy, it's going to get sent flying backwards. Now, this is important to note later on, but for now, we're just going over the basic attacks. So, next thing you'll want to learn. You've probably noticed that you had to choose a character at the beginning of the game, and I'm guessing a lot of you picked Sans just because he's the most known character in SoulShatters from Undertale. But I use Glitchtail Kara. Each character has a different series of attacks, and each character has a different number of attacks. For Glitchtail Kara, you've got your basic attacks here, which are 1 through 5. So if I press 1 on my keyboard, I will send a ray of, I don't know, anyways. It shoots a long-range attack that you can use to hit your enemies. Don't use this when they're running, because they'll just run out of it. Unfortunately, there's not going to be much middle ground for this tutorial, so if you'd like, you can join my Discord server, and I'll be happy to teach you anything you need to catch up to the advanced part. You've got 1, you've got 4, which sends out 4 of those small little rays. And that's how I remember it, because if you're new here, you'll probably want to memorize all these things. So that sends out 4, 1 sends out 1. Now, 2 is a dash attack. Now, I know you're thinking, wouldn't this be a dash attack? Well, it is, and that's actually pretty helpful in a fight. But you're going to actually want to use number 2 after you've knocked someone down. Now, let me show you what that means. So, first of all, let me lock off of this for a sec. You can hold 2 down and hold it as long as you want, and it will go further. when you run. But if you just press 2, it will be more like a dash attack, and you can just run up close and hit your enemy like that. And it has some decent range to it, so the only reason you'd ever need to charge is when you know the enemy's not going to get back up for a long time and you want to do that extra bit of damage. Next we've got number 3. Number 3 is pretty much just free damage as long as your opponent can't get back up and can't run away. So this attack can be easily dodged. You want to use it after combos, typically. But anyways. And then finally you've got 5, which is your only defensive attack for your first stage. It'll give you this little red health bar here that stays there for about 5 seconds. And basically what that does is, while that's up, you're invulnerable to any melee attacks or small attacks. Bigger attacks will burst through the stamina of that bar and you will get knocked down. But for small attacks it's great, and it'll send your enemy onto the ground instead of you. Okay, I think I've gone over enough of the basic mechanics of the game for you guys to know generally how to play. Now, before moving on to the advanced section, you'll probably want to play for at least a week, just to get the feel of things. Ask people if they can teach you how to play. I'm sure people would love to help you. Just say that you already know the basic controls and you want to know how to start doing combos.